now going into the holiday weekend. So there was the
weekend, even this morning. Here's a look at the jet stream. So that colder air hovering right along the U.S.-Canadian border as we head into the late week. Really not as cold across parts of the southern U.S. And your forecast traveling across the plains and the Great Lakes region shows it's actually going to be fairly quiet tomorrow, even into Wednesday. We don't expect too much in places like Lexington, St. Louis, or Wichita. Now, as you head up into the northern tier, northern Wisconsin, northern Minnesota, UP of Michigan in particular, that's where we get into the snow. But a lot of those main thoroughways, the highways, they are staying dry. Thursday, the entire region looks good. 28 in Minneapolis with sunshine. Chicago, 33, partly cloudy. And by Friday, we've got 41 in Cleveland with sunshine. Maybe a few more clouds down towards Wichita, St. Louis, and Lexington. And here is your Saturday forecast. Again, Christmas Eve. A lot of folks out there and about. Chicago, we think you'll be around 34 with rain showers. Warmer across the Midwest with more rain likely there. And then on Sunday, of course, the day that Tom Nizzle has been watching very carefully, perhaps some freezing rain in places like Minneapolis and Green Bay. But for Chicago, we think you'll stay warm enough, at least at this point, that you are looking at a rain event. So that's some good news.
Yeah, I think people that are going to travel and they know they have to travel, if they can stay out of the snow, once they get there, it can snow, that's fine. But
right, you know, a lot of people are saying, okay, cool, I'm getting to my destination Saturday, and then on Sunday, I'm just
let it unload on me, right?
Yeah, go for it. Bring it, Mother Nature. All in a good mood is spreading the Christmas. Oh, you know what? Wow. Actually, I just feel like they just put you on repeat. A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight. Should we just advance the graphics and let everybody just listen to it, like musically?
All right.
I like the wink too.
I did not turn in.
Karaoke or lip sync contest.
Tuned in to watch Bettis lip sync.
I did. So. Joke's on you.
Who doesn't?
Here is the system, though, bringing all that moisture onshore. Sing it, Bettis. It's rain in Portland.
It's raining men. Hallelujah. No, that's terrible.
Well, I mean, it's not ice. They'll take whatever they could get at that point.
Just plain rain. Higher elevations and then across the northern Rockies and then work your way over to the northern plains. You end up getting tomorrow some snow or some mix. And here's what's still to come. And you can see this really well depicts where you've got low elevation and where you've got high elevation snow and rain.
Yeah, so ski resorts rejoice, and folks who have had their fair share of really awful winter weather, they get a break this time.
That's right. From the late week and weekend storm.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And, you know, I've been watching the runs of the computer models all day today. The newer runs that have come in are actually, we sure are. I have to jump back to Arctic sea smoke, that term. By the way, my professor used to tell us about this. Well, we're not in the Arctic. It didn't occur over the sea, and it's not smoke.
That's true. It's all a lie.
Well, it's quite a misnomer, isn't it? But
it is.
Anyhow, let's segue over to the Great Lakes. This is a picture from yesterday. Lake effect snows across the lakes. Just a tiny bit of ice cover here on this part of the lakes. People are asking me, with all of this Arctic air, where is all the ice cover?
Right.
Well, typically at this time of the year, so this is the third week in December, all this is blue. That's all open water typically for ice cover. This is 30 years of ice cover averaged out. By the time we get into about January 8th through the 14th, notice the bays and the western parts of the lake ice up. By the last part of January, shallow Lake Erie starts to ice up. And by the beginning of February, take a look at the ice cover. Main big lakes here wide open, but this baby right here typically gets fully covered with ice, and there's a reason for that.
Right. You mentioned the depth coming into play when you talk about the lakes and how quickly they freeze up, and I believe we've got something to help us explain that, right?
We spare no expense here with a very, very heavily edited graphic that Ryan helped me make here. It is the Great Lakes here, and you can see all the lakes are on there, and I've actually taken the time to put cities on there.
That's
and by the
very
way,
kind of you.
I added Perry Sound. There's a reason for that. You may not know this, but the home of Bobby Orr, one of the greatest NHL defensemen. I'm a hockey fan, so
you got to include that, right?
So we've got the Great Lakes here, and I talked about Lake Erie and how Lake Erie typically freezes over. Well, let's go ahead and let's open this up and turn the board here, and we're going to take a look at the Great Lakes. The reason why, if we look at the volume of all of these lakes, Lake Superior, 2,900 cubic miles of water. Lake Michigan, 1,100. Lake Huron, 800. Lake Ontario, over 400 cubic miles of water. But this shallow pan here that's only at its greatest depth, 200 feet deep, Lake Erie, only has about 116 miles of cubic water in it. This is a very very shallow lake, and because of the shallowness of the lake and the large surface area of that body of water, this lake tends to freeze over the quickest, and that's your Meteorology 101 on the
He
Great Lakes.
shoots, he scores.
Well,
Right
very
through the 5-hole. Thank you, Tom Nizzle. And coming up on Weather Underground, we're going to go through your video.
Plenty of them about the week of weather. Ryan, I'm sure people are interested if they have travel, concerns, or maybe they're wanting a white Christmas.
I'll give you one guess what major topic people have been talking about.
Christmas.
Alex?
Cold.
Niz?
Reindeer.
Cookies.
Reindeer.
Reindeer.
Yeah.
Or snow, winter. All right, so we'll start with Dylan.
I do
Oh,
want to.
man.
I want to point something else out too. By the way, Caleb,
gonna hurt
I
himself.
want you to give a shot right here.
Yeah.
So I wore these socks
I hope
today.
you stretch.
There you go,
Oh,
right
I
here.
got him. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Hey, Tom.
Burn these ones.
So an additional,
Got ripped off.
so to Mike's point, why aren't snowflakes more than 6 or less than 6 sides?
Well, again, it has to do with the molecular structure of the water molecule when it goes into a solid phase. It actually, the H2O atoms actually line up into 6-sided figures. And
And that's why
Very cool.
they always have 6 sides.
Tom.
All right, next question comes from Noah.
what is it?
They spin in opposite direction.
They spin in an opposite direction, yeah. So they do.
So to us, anti-cyclonic, but down there it's still cyclonic. Clockwise.
In a roundabout way.